Jerry T here. We're back out in the garage. And today we're doing brain surgery on the Magicycle deer. That's right. Sounds scary, doesn't it? Yeah. it could be scary, but let's take a look at it and see how it goes. Today we're going to replace the controller inside the Magicycle deer. The controller is the brains of the bike. It handles all the information from the throttle to the sensors, so that it controls the bike, controls the speed. When you set the pedal assist settings, it makes sure that when you get to your settings, you're going that speed. So once in a while, this is electronics. You may end up where you have a need to get to that controller because you're having a problem. Maybe support needs you to do some testing. Maybe they send you a new controller and you need to swap it out and you can't find anybody to do it. So, well, this might not be so bad. So let's take a look. We're going to do this in real time, okay? We're going to replace our controller with a brand new one. I'm going to show you how it's done. And again, might not be so bad. Let's go. First, I want to get my bike in position, okay? And I debated on this, but I thought I'd show you again on how to put a bike in maintenance positions, what I call it. So if you need to do some sort of work on the bike, brakes, chain, derailleur, controller, this is really an easy way to work on your bike rather than trying to squat. And I've got a bad back, so squatting and reaching and getting up underneath there is just impossible. So let's put the bike in position. So I am just gonna go ahead and I've taken everything off the back of the bike. I've lowered the seat down to the lowest it will go. I've taken bar and mirrors off, so there's nothing gonna get in the way here. So, and I put down my 4x4 post on either side. So, and I've done that. So, I'll give you, okay, I put those down because what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna lay the handlebars of the bike on those posts when I turn it upside down. And the post will actually keep the bike from crushing anything on the handlebars itself. So to keep it elevated up enough that you don't have to worry about anything else. So I'm gonna go ahead and grab the right side, the rear brake, and I'm gonna just walk this bike back. I'm not lifting. I'm just walking. Okay. I'm gonna go ahead and get it up a little. Once I get to this point, I'm gonna grab the front forks and just walk it back. And I'm gonna set these handlebars right on these posts. There we go. There we go, wasn't that bad. So that is our tactical position. So, all right, now let's take a look at what tools we're gonna need to do this repair. All right, we are going to need a P1 Phillips screwdriver. You can use a drill, I don't recommend it. I'll explain why in a minute. We're gonna need a 4mm Allen, snips, some zips, and you know me, gotta have Loctite. So, and we need our new controller. So, and a beverage. All right, so now that we've actually got the bike in position, if we take a look down here, first thing we need to do is remove this cover plate with these 4 Phillips screws. So let's go ahead and do that. Okay. So the reason I don't use a drill to take these screws out is because typically these type of screws are short and what happens is you don't want to strip these out. You don't want to strip them. And with a drill, you tend to get a little trigger heavy and you might go the wrong way and might do too much and spin out that screw, then you're in big trouble. So if you manually, I don't think it's going to be that much of a big deal. And let's see if I was right. Yep, I was. So it's just a very, very shallow screw. So let's set these on our table so we don't lose them. And I'm also going to crisscross pattern as I take them off, so that they come off kind of even. The plate does anyway. All right. And one more. And voila, plate's off. We'll set this in our workbench over here. And let's see what we got. Let me grab a flashlight. So we can see what's going on here. Okay, there's our controller. And all our cables. Boy, that looks tight, doesn't it? Yeah, all right, but won't be a problem. So the next step is going to be, now that we get that plate off, that access panel off, let's see. What we need to do is we need to unscrew these two screws, and that's our 4mm Allen we'll use, and that will loosen up our controller. Okay. Allen. Now this is going to be probably tough to get that controller back into place. Our screws aren't that long, so we're going to go ahead and set these separately because they are different than the plate screws. So we don't want to mix those up. And there's a orientation of washers. You have a flat washer and you have a lock washer on there. And you want to keep that orientation. So I'll show you here. There's our second screw. And you see there's two washers on there, so you want to keep them on the screw. And good job, Magicycle, putting a little Loctite. All right. Now, let's take a look again, see what we got here. Ooh, that baby's loose. That's a goose. Nice. So, now it's going to be a little tight. And we may need to cut a couple of them zip ties. Ooh, hey, there we go. All right. It wasn't half bad. So I kind of want to make sure that I really took note on how that came out, because you only have one way to get it back in so that the screws mount that we took out on the outside here. Okay, so these two screws, one went here and one went here, so to hold that controller in place. So I don't want to blind you. So, all right, let's get the snips. Let's see if we have access to all our cords. No, we're short a couple here, so. Okay, yeah, that one's have to come undone. So let's move our table over and position this so you can see. All right. Okay. There we go. what I'm going to do is, the nice part about this is the plugs are all plug and play. So you really don't have to worry about, they're color coded. I'll give you a for instance here. These will pull apart. Orange, orange. So there. And you can see that there's no way to put them in the wrong way either. So we can start taking these plugs apart and they just pull straight out. There's no twisting. I want to reiterate that. You don't want to try twisting these out. They will pull right out. Let's see. We have two more, and I need to start cutting zip ties here. And that is this one here. Okay, red, right side frayed, and we got one more big boy, and that is one down here going to the motor. Need to get rid of these zips and disconnect our motor cable. Bam. Now our controller should be free. Ho, 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 look at that. There we go. Not too bad. So let's grab the new one and we'll start working on that. Okay, so we've got our new controller here. Don't mix them up. And let's stretch our cables out. And we can start feeding. We have the two long ones that need to go really far in there. Let's see here. Hello. And dose. And that's as far as my Spanish will take me. Okay. So this is enough. And again, our plugs are color coded, so we don't have to worry about messing that up. So we can make sure our pins are correct spot. Bam, snap into place. Very easy. This one here, you have a flat spot, two flat spots that you can feel on this particular plug. The motor will snap right in. All right, so what do we got left? Pigtail mess here. Okay, so we got the two pins, and I've got to see there. Push in. So you really can't put the wrong pin in the wrong place. So luckily they were smart and did that. So just in case, the problem that they do is they put a directional arrow on these plugs, and for the life of me, I can never find the damn arrow. And it's right there. All right. There is the arrow, and there is the other arrow. Oops. Get that. There. You got to make sure you get this right, because when we put everything back in and go for our test ride, we certainly don't want to have to come back and reconnect. One more to go. All right, one more to go. And orange. Good, you can actually hear that pop. Okay, so tuck our wires back, fish our controller down in place. Actually, I think well, not sure which way would be simpler. Here, I kind of, now we can't. We need to spring these off to the side, so I'm gonna go ahead and see if I can get these to, there we go. Okay, perfect. Now that wasn't that bad. So now we need to get our 2 side screws back in place. And I am going to a couple drops of Loctite on. Even though Magicycle did, I just want to make sure, you know. And the Loctite I use is a removable Loctite. So they have a permanent, and that's where I think people get bitter. They have a bad experience with it because they've used permanent and then it's very difficult to undo. So, okay. I figure if I can get that one in first, I can, there we go, swivel the controller, the bottom one, into place. And there we go. I want to keep it a little loose. Let's grab our other screw. And get our pedal out of the way. And we're gonna need to, boy, this is gonna be the little finesse. We've got our 2 side screws on, holding our controller in place. Tighten these down. Remember, we added thread lock to, so we don't have to worry about them coming loose. So we don't need to crank them down. Just want to make sure our controller ain't gonna move around. So, hey, next thing we got is take a look at the zip tie situation, what we need to do. Okay. Magicycle puts in these loops here made for the zip tie, which is really nice. So let's go ahead and get that one. There we go. And you know what? I'm just gonna use one more right inside here. Zip that, and it's really important you do this. It's not a step you want to forget. You don't want any of these wires getting caught up. All right, bam. So we'll cut our tails off. Sorry about that, it's so stuffy in here today. All right, so I'm going to all right, everything's tucked away, nothing rubbing, nothing touching. Let's put our plate back on. Okay, and put a little Loctite on there. And we're going to, again, just hand screw these in. I don't want to take a chance on stripping them out. These are, thankfully, a common thread. So if something happens, you can run up to Depot or Lowe's. It is metric threads, but you should be able to find some replacement, which is good. That was nice in Magicycle not to use some proprietary thread count that you have to wait 2 weeks to get a screw from China. All right. And we got one more. Okay. All right. Let's go ahead and put our bike back up. Move the camera back. All right. So there. That wasn't that bad. So let's go ahead and test it out. See if it powers on. Ho, ho, ho. Look at that. All right. Let's go to settings. And all right. All is right in the world. And exit.